Knicks versus Rockets, second part of a back-to-back for the Knicks, and a game just like last night that I wanted them to take. You know, this is an undermanned Rockets team, and this Knicks team is way better on paper, and I wanted to come out and take this game and dominate, and they did that. Got out to a fast start. Elfrid Payton was in his bag early, Reggie Bullock early, Julius doing his Julius things. But after a ferocious Rockets comeback by John Wall to cut it to 5, it was once again the dynamic duo of Derrick Rose and Immanuel Quickley who put this game away and left no doubts. Knicks win 121-99.
At its finest. And, with Mitchell being out, we really needed that help from Nerlens Noel on the offense and the defense. He came through. I mean, I think he looked great as a starter. I think that he's going to be the consistent factor we're going to need, especially in Mitch's absence. In the third quarter, things got a little bit shaky again. Those Tibbs rotations, we were looking at them a little bit sideways because it gave the Rockets time to come back, and they did not look great, the Rockets. I mean, their shots just weren't hitting. They kind of hit their stride a little bit in the third, and we kind of helped them in that direction. But shout out to Tibbs and the rest of the guys for being able to kind of snap out of that and put their foot back on the gas. I think this was a good win on both sides of the ball, and I'm very impressed with what I saw tonight.
So another night where we hold a team under 100 points. So the Knicks defense definitely came to play. As you said, I thought Nerlens and Taj did a pretty commendable job in Mitch's absence. Once again, that duo, Rose and Quickley, 21 points versus the Heat in Rose's debut. 30 points versus the Wizards. 38 points tonight versus the Rockets. And, there was early concerns that Rose might take Quickley's minutes, but it's a complete opposite. They're coming in together, and they're giving that second unit a lift. And now it's a pick your poison type of situation, Jails, because, like I said, Quickley, yes, he's getting the threes off the dribble and off the pull-ups, but he's also getting it off the catch and shoots as well. Because Rose, as that other ball handler, he's a threat in his own. So it's the ball movement is crisp. Burks has added another dimension. The three of them gave that second unit a huge lift in the second quarter. RJ didn't really have it tonight. Another night that he kind of struggled from the field, and last night was more the same. Shout out to my guy Larry Israel. He asked me if I thought that RJ was hurt, because he did have the knee taped up and stuff like that, and he mentioned that he did look a little slow. And when I did watch him in the second half, he did look like he was dragging the leg a little bit. So another night for RJ where he only plays 22 minutes, 2 for 8 from the field, 7 points, 5 dimes. Very ho-hum night for RJ tonight. Are you guys concerned at all with RJ?
No, I think, it happens. I think, it's growing pains of kind of developing and becoming who we want him to be. I don't think he's looked atrocious to where, you got to sound the alarm. It definitely is a big contrast in what we've seen him do consistently the past few games, past few weeks. But I also think, with D Rose being on the squad now, it kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off of RJ to be the scorer constantly. And I think that's what we were seeing. I mean, there were only a handful of guys who could actually score. And now that D Rose is in the mix, it kind of makes it a little bit easier for RJ to have nights like this and still be able to pull out wins. So I'm not concerned. I think, like I said, it's just part of the growing pains of being a 20-year-old superstar to be in the NBA. You're going to see games like this from him. You're going to see games like that from IQ. You're going to see games like that from Obi. You're going to see games like that from the young guys who are still trying to figure out who they are in this league and how they can contribute to this team and to do so consistently. So it's it's nothing to be worried about. It's part of the game.
One thing about Peyton that we saw last year is that he don't back down.
No, he doesn't.
He was all up on John Wall in that first quarter, and let him know he was here. Let him know he was here to play tonight. Last year we saw him throw Crowder 3 rows into the stands, into Chris Brickley and them for trying to run up the score. So that's one thing about Peyton. He's tough, man. He's from Louisiana. He doesn't back down, and so you definitely appreciate that, especially in this modern game when all these players are kind of soft and buddy. So Julius did well, man. Another night, 22-8. For Julius, 7-15 on the night, 1 for 2 from downtown, 7-8 from the free throw line. We got to get Julius to the All-Star game, man. He deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah, he's playing so well, it's boring now. Like, no one wants to talk about but he's playing well every single time, and he's starting to hit even like clutch shots at the buzzer now.
Like Melo, I mean, somebody hit me on Twitter like, "Yo, Julius is kind of in his Melo bag," and I'm like, I didn't really want to admit it, but you know, he kind. Some of the moves are kind of, you know, they're operating out of the same area, mostly out of that elbow. You know, it seems like the first shot he wants to go to is that like turnaround baseline jumper.
Yep. That falling away jumper on that baseline on that right side. Yep. Every single time.
Yeah, Julius definitely took out the Arsenal today on PJ Tucker. So that was an impressive performance, man. You know, the schedule is, you know, not to say that they're winnable. I hate to say winnable games when it comes to the Knicks because, you know, nothing's ever easy. But the Hawks coming up, Orlando coming up, you know, those are games that teams that are within the Knicks' speed, that if they want to make the playoffs, these are games that they can and should win. So let's see how they respond in these next few games. 5 of 11 from the field for Rose, 16. And like I said, I thought he really took control of that game in the third and fourth when we needed it. And that, you know, his addition, that's what that gives us. And he came up big.
Facts. Like, he was shooting 42% with the Detroit Pistons. He's shooting 60% now.
Yeah. Hey, man. He's born again, so salute to him. Good win.
Rose and Quickley got the points. They got all the separation points when we were up by 7. But if you noticed at the end of the third, Randle, of course, with Mitch out, has to protect the paint, and he has to get tough boards. And I think he had back-to-back possessions of a tough board kick-out, and then he had a block on the other side. It was a 7-point game. Randle is really holding it down for us and making sure that we can create that separation for Quickley to get hot, for Rose to start penetrating, for other guys to get involved. So whenever we just need a consistent, established force on the floor, this guy's been just, like Jay Ellis said, quote of the night, it's starting to get boring, but we're enjoying it.
To his point, Julius really taking on the challenge of drawing the other team's toughest defenders, drawing the double teams, you know, commanding that attention, commanding that gravity and that energy, and again, making his teammates better. And he's got to get on the boards. Yesterday he had 18 against Washington. Tonight, another 9, chipped in with another 9, 1 turnover. And again, against Tucker, I thought he had a good game. I thought these were solid numbers against PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
What's going on with R.J. Barrett? This is probably, the 3rd or 4th game he's been struggling right now? Is his shooting it's off or something like that? I wanted to know what you guys, your feedback about it.
It was just an off night for him. I mean, he finished with 7 points, still had 5 assists, so he was still productive in certain areas. 2 of 8 from the field. I thought he missed, 2 to 3 bunnies that he could have had. He only took 1 3 and he missed it. So I thought he took some shots that, normally he should make, and he's got to finish better. That's all it is. I think he's just got to finish better. But with the whole RJ thing, I think the bottom line is we just got to wait and see. It's a couple games skid now, but he was cooking for, the last 10 games before that. So let's give him a chance. Yes, he has the tape on the knee. We'll have to see how, what's going on there. Did look a little bit slower than normal. Didn't really have his typical burst. Not to say that he has a lot of burst and explosion, but it was more evident in other games. Today he looked a little bit slower. So we'll see. We just have to wait and see. But I wouldn't say that, something to be alarmed about by any means.
People in the chat are saying, I think we found our future 6th man of the year, 6th man this. Bro, I think people are underestimating this guy. He's so good, bro. You don't understand.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think he has all-star potential, man. I think people are short-selling how good this guy is. I did some research because I'm in my surge bag, all right? I did some research, right? He's averaging 12 points in 19 minutes a game. 12 points, 19 minutes a game. Per 36 minutes, 23 points a game as a rookie. He's shooting 5th in the NBA in free throw percentage, all right? He's an elite shooter, and not only do the numbers back it up, but if you watch the game, even when he misses, he barely misses the shot, all right? So I think Quickley, just because he was the 25th pick doesn't mean he doesn't have a high ceiling. I think this guy is a future all-star ceiling, man, honestly.
Okay.
And listen, the last thing I want to say, all right? Mm-hmm. We still need to add assets to this team, man. We're in a rebuilding mode. So whether that's trade Randle or that's trade anyone else, you guys can discuss that, whatever. But we shouldn't abandon the number one thing, which is adding assets and continuing the rebuild. So maybe, I don't know, maybe what we could do is, you know, if we want to compete for the playoffs but also add assets, maybe we could take on a bad contract for like 1 year, punt on free agency, get a first-round pick attached to it, so we can make a run in the playoffs and get an extra asset.
I think they're open for everything. They will be open for business for the right deals, and I don't think they're going to be rushing anything. I think they'll keep their ear to the streets on whatever it is that's going to help them continue to build. But right now, I think that they're going to look to buy low as they compete for the playoffs. And that's clearly what the Rose move meant. And I think that's an indicator that they're not going to trade Randle just to trade him. And so, yeah, that's where they are, man.